You're listening to CherryPickin Entertainment.
Throw me the ball and watch what I do with it.
You are now tuned into the CherryPickin podcast with your host, Andre Cherry.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the CherryPickin podcast. I'm your host, Andre Cherry, and on this episode, it's going to be a shorty. So it's just a short podcast episode to get you ready for Week 6 action this weekend, which will only be a few days away. I'm recording this episode on October 2nd on Wednesday, and I didn't think I was going to release an episode at all this week. I had been traveling last weekend for a wedding back in Chicago, but you know what? I just can't do you like that. I can't do the loyal CherryPickin fans like that and not give them a podcast episode to enjoy for Week 6 action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to preview some of the games this weekend by giving you my top 5 straight up locks for Week 6 action. And we'll kick this off, as we always do, in the ACC. I'm taking Clemson over Florida State. I think Clemson wins big over Florida State on the road this weekend. Clemson has won the last 3 games over FSU. Number 15 Clemson, who is currently undefeated in the ACC. Number 15 Clemson, who is currently undefeated in the ACC, will be facing a Seminole squad that will be without quarterback DJU, who suffered a broken finger during the loss to SMU last week. It's quite unfortunate as well, because it would have been a reunion of sorts for DJU, who was a starter at FSU 2 transfer portal trips ago. Somehow the spread is only 14.5 points, but I think this game could be even uglier than the Clemson versus NC State matchup a few weekends ago. Clemson is currently 14th in the FBS for points scored per game at 42, and its quarterback Clay Klubnik has the 3rd most passing touchdowns in the ACC right now. Florida State has one of the worst offenses in college football, which is no surprise, so I truly wonder how it will perform without DJU this weekend. DJ threw 3 interceptions last week and has only thrown 4 touchdowns to 6 interceptions total. He's completing only 53.8% of his passes, so yeesh. But quarterback Brock Glenn has already been named the replacement for this weekend at Florida State. Part of me thinks Glenn can't be any worse, and perhaps he provides a spark to this offense, but maybe that's just wishful thinking on my part. So out of the ACC, I'm taking Clemson over Florida State. In the Big 12, I'm taking Florida over UCF. So I'm staying in the state of Florida for a moment for the Big 12 prediction here. And I'm taking the Gators over the Knights. The Gators last met the UCF Knights back in 2021 in the Gasparilla Bowl, which saw the Gators on the losing end of that bowl game. I believe the Gators need to win this game before its schedule starts to get real hellish. I mean, you thought it was bad the first few games of the season. Just wait till you hear about the teams that are waiting for them in the second half of the season. After UCF, Florida's next 5 out of 6 games come against ranked opponents, 3 of which are currently ranked in the top 5 of the AP poll. Head coach Billy Napier needs this win. His seat is warm, no doubt about that. Especially considering that he's 13-16 overall through his 3rd year in Gainesville. So 13 wins compared to 16 losses. Would the university think about cutting him loose if the Gators lose this weekend? I would think that's a possibility, but that's just my pure speculation at this point. So I say all that to say this: the Gators will win this game against UCF because they need to win against UCF. So Gators over the Knights. In the Big 10, I'm taking USC over Minnesota. So PJ Fleck has got his boys rowing that boat. All time, the USC Trojans are 6-1-1 versus the Gophers and have won the last 5 meetings. USC finds itself ranked 11th in the AP poll for Week 6 action, with its only loss coming to Michigan. At this point in the season, USC has exceeded my expectations for them, and I don't see them getting trapped up by Minnesota this weekend. However, I'm looking forward to seeing how running back Darius Taylor is able to perform against USC's defense this weekend. Taylor is 5th in the Big Ten for rushing touchdowns at 5. He had 2 touchdowns last week alone during Minnesota's game against Michigan, where the Gophers went on a rally to score 21 points in the fourth quarter, but ultimately fell to the Wolverines by a score of 27-24. The Gophers are going to have to row those boats faster this week if they expect to have a shot against USC this weekend. So out of the Big Ten, USC over Minnesota. Out of the Pac-12 or Pac-2, I'm taking Oregon State over Colorado State. This is the 4th meeting between these two teams. The last time these teams met was back in 2017. Both of these teams are coming off of a Week 5 victory. Beavers linebacker Nico Taylor has been a force for Oregon State this season. The defender leads the team with 2 sacks. He's also accounted for 4 tackle for losses and 1 forced fumble. He will be the anchor for the Beavers this weekend against Colorado State. I think the Oregon State defense will overwhelm Colorado State and its quarterback, Braden Fowler Nicolosi, who, through 5 weeks of action, has only thrown 2 touchdowns compared to 4 interceptions. I'm taking Oregon State to win big this weekend. So out of the Pac-2, Oregon State over Colorado State. And then finally, out of the SEC, Missouri over Texas A&M. This is Missouri's first road game of the season after having 4 straight games at home, if you can believe that or not. That's insane scheduling to have 4 straight home games. The Tigers are going into a hostile territory at Kyle Field, and this truly will be a test for red-hot Missouri. In the SEC, these two teams are 2-2 in matchups with one another in the SEC. I like the direction that Missouri is headed in, but this is a team that is probably the most disrespected team in college football. Now, I know you'll say, but Dre, the Tigers are ranked 9th in the AP poll. How can you say that this is disrespect? Well, I'll tell you. If Missouri plays a close game against Texas A&M and wins, or even if they lose, Missouri will tumble far in the AP poll. I just think that people are waiting for this team to lose, and I feel as if they're just saying, okay, we'll just wait till Missouri plays that tough SEC schedule, and then we'll see if they're real or not. I feel like other teams don't get this disrespect. Other teams aren't constantly tested because nobody respects Missouri in the SEC. They feel like they don't belong, or at least maybe the fans that I hear and follow on social media. They just feel like Missouri is kind of like the stepchild of the SEC. But again, I like the direction that this team is going. I like Eli Drinkwitz, the head coach. I think he's taking Missouri to some good places, Missouri football, taking them far. So in many ways, this matchup between the Aggies and the Tigers will be a true test for both of these teams who are both undefeated in the conference. So Texas A&M loses the first week against Notre Dame, but they regroup and they've rattled off 4 straight victories. They're undefeated in the SEC. Whoever wins this game will get a tremendous boost as they head into the Week 7 and beyond of the SEC. So huge test, huge matchup this weekend, but I'm taking Missouri over Texas A&M. So those are my top 5 straight up locks for Week 6 action. Can you believe we are already 6 weeks into the season? This season is flying by. We're already in October. It's crazy. I'll run those picks down for you one more time. In the ACC, I'm taking Clemson over Florida State. In the Big 12, Florida over UCF. In the Big 10, USC over Minnesota. In the Pac-12, Oregon State over Colorado State. And in the SEC, Missouri over Texas A&M. Well, there we have it, my friends. That was my shorty episode for Week 6 action. I hope this gets you ready for all of the games this weekend. We've got some good ones lined up, and I can't wait to watch all the action unfold from my couch this weekend. Hope you guys have a good seat on your couch or wherever you may be at, your tailgate, whatever the case may be. Hope you have fun watching college football this weekend. Hope you have a good one. I can't wait to talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Peace. Thank you again for tuning into my Cherry Pickin' podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to subscribe to my show and drop me a rating on Apple Podcasts. All of my digital content can be found at the website CherryPickinSports.com. And if you are looking to interact with me via social media, my Twitter handle is @Cherry_Pickin. That's PICKIN. On my Twitter, you'll also find a link to my blog where I post my weekly college football predictions and analysis. I can also be reached via email at cherrypickinsports@gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out to me regarding what you like about this podcast or about what content you'd like to hear more of on future episodes. I sincerely thank you for your support, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Take care.